Yeah, I'm able to see a screen.
Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, I built a lost and found applications, an app that like allows like users to like report um items that they lost or items that they found. So it's like a lost and found application. So based off the requirements, I had to use Swagger. So I got Swagger running. So I'm just gonna demonstrate that it works first with Swagger. So um
Okay.
so these are the different endpoints that I make the request to. So let's say I make a get request over here, right, to fetch all the items in the application. Um, then it brings back all the items as you can see, all the JSON formatted items, all the way till the last one I have here. So it shows the ID of the item, the title, um, the description of the item that is reported, the category, status, location of where the item was lost, the date, contact info as well. So when I make the get request to fetch all the items, it's made to this endpoint. Then I can also create a new item as well. So uh, when I create a new item, just add the details. So add the title, the description, so all the fields to describe the item that is lost. So I set the status to lost, and then it's being made to this endpoint. So when I click execute, the item is created. So it's a 200 OK message showing that the request is successful. So then here's our item that's created with ID 14. Then
Okay.
I can basically edit the specific item that I just created. So in order to edit that item, I need to access it by its ID, which is ID 14, as you can see here. So over here, I place ID 14, and then I can basically like change the specific details. So let's say I want to change the title to, then if I execute, then the update is successful. So it shows the newly updated um, data over here because I changed the title here. Then I can basically also delete the item as well, just to show that it works. So I have to basically add the ID, and then if I delete it, it shows that it's successful. Then just to show that it is deleted, if I try to fetch all the items over here, then it no longer shows that item. So it shows that it's removed. It only shows this last item and the rest. So that's just to demonstrate that it works with Swagger API. Um, I also have a front end as well that I just built just to show how the application works. So essentially, you can just report the item by clicking the report new item. Um, then you can say like the title and describe it. Uh, and I can add a category as well as the status, whether it's lost or found, the location, the reporter, and the contact details, and submit, and then it shows that item is created or is reported over here. So yeah, that's just to show how
Okay.
it works in the back end and the front end. Um,
Okay.
cool. So then coming to the code, in order to get Swagger working, in my pom.xml, I added this dependency, the Swagger dependency over here. Spring Doc Open API Starter Web MVC UI. So this gets Swagger to work, to connect to it. Then on my application's properties, I added two variables, Swagger UI, and I set it to true to enable that like the user interface for Swagger shows in the front end, and then as well as over here I set packages to scan, so it's gonna scan all the controllers in my lost and found application. So in the application itself, I firstly have set like configurations. So over here I have security config, which essentially firstly here this user detail service is just going to register customer user details. Then password encoder is mainly for encrypting users passwords when they register. Here in this filter chain method is mainly dealing with authorizations, um, as well as CSRF tokens as well. Then have my controllers, which basically have the endpoints. So I have auth controller here, but I'm gonna explain auth rest controller as well as item controller because that's mainly for the back end. Um, these are the ones I created for my front end, which wasn't part of the requirements. So for auth rest controllers, just dealing with authorization, authentication. So post request to register an account, to log in, as well as a delete request to delete a user's account. Then the main thing here is the item controller, which handles the requests to create, update, delete. So everything I demonstrated in the Swagger API. So firstly, I have this post request to basically create a new item. So it uses this create method, and it also saves that item to the repo, which is the item repository that interacts with my database. So it saves data to that database as well. Then I have this get request to get all the items that are created in my application. It uses the find all method to find it from my database. Then I have a get request to find one specific item by its ID. So you can only access one item by locating it by its ID. Then there's put requests to update the item, like I demonstrated. And we make that request to this endpoint /ID. Then as well as a delete request with this delete method in order to delete an item. Then I have over here these DTOs, the data transfer objects. So essentially, it is my item request class, and it basically has all the fields, right, for a specific item, as you can see from title all the way to owner username. And it also helps with validation. So you can see here we use these annotations, at not blank and at size. So it's just going to ensure that when you fill in the details for a specific item, it meets these requirements to make sure that it's valid. So like the message has to have a description. Then the description must be under 2,000 characters. but that's for the specific field. So each field has specific validations that occur. Then also have getters to get all the data for those fields. Uh, then in my entity, this is where I set the fields for the specific items. So, well, here's specifically fields for a specific user. So the ID, username, password, as well as the role. Then in my item class, it's setting the fields for one specific item. So you can see the ID, the title, the description. So all the fields, all the way to the status, whether the item is lost, found, or claimed. Then exceptions for basically error handling. I have repositories for interacting with my database. So item repository over here. Then um, my services are basically just containing the business logic of my application. So over here, I have user repository repo for database access, and then password encoder to hash the passwords. Then I have a user service constructor over here, which initializes these two variables. Then this register method is helping with registration, logging methods helping with logging in, and then this is helping with deleting an account. Then in my item service, I also have methods. This method, create method, is when a user creates an item. This method helps the user create an item. This one is to find all the items from the repo, to find an item by its ID over here, updating an item as well as deleting an item. Um, then my main class or my main method to run the application as well. Then yeah, then I just have HTMLs here just for the front end, but this is mainly uh this is mostly what defines my application. So yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
I do not have any questions for you, but my feedback to you, your lost and found application that you just presented, it was good. The code is actually actually organized. Notice that your CRUD application operations work perfectly because that is what you started with, and you had a solid explanation, so I could follow you, understand. Okay, this is my output. This is what my code does. Your explanation was solid. I didn't even have to say use a debugger, so we can see you already explained thoroughly. Yeah, everything. So all in all, understand. I follow easily, and good job.
Okay.
Good presentation.
Thank you, Lizzie. Appreciate it. Cool.
Thank you, Tom.